Welcome to another episode of Concrete Mystique, the podcast. Today is going to be such an exciting one for me. We've been planning this really for almost a year, to be honest with you. Tony Ronaldo is on the show today, and we are going to talk about the Decorative Concrete Expo that's coming up in just a couple weeks. By the time you watch this video, probably within a week. Depends on how long it takes me to edit it. But we are excited about it. We both love going to this. I mean, I've been there from day one. It is one of my favorite weeks of the year. I love the family of Decorative and how they, respect me and treat me, and just everything about it has been so awesome over the years. This is going to be a different year for me, though, because I am not doing a demonstration. I'm not competing. In fact, I have absolutely no idea what I am doing at the show this year at all. I know I'm doing something. I know they have plans. It is either going to be a small demonstration with the engraver and doing some design work over with Emil, or I might just be doing podcasts the whole day, which is what I've been trying to get him to let me do. I really want him to just give me a table and give me electricity and say, hey, here's a sign-up sheet. Who wants to record? Let's go. And so I'm hoping that they let me do that. I've been trying to do that since I started the podcast, but I don't know what to expect yet. How about you?
That's awesome. I would love if they let you do that, because it's never been done, and you're the perfect guy to do it. From from my end, I am going to be instructing one of the stations in the learning zone, but I am looking forward to checking out the SmackDown, of course, and the wheelbarrow race, which will be new for this year. And I don't think anybody really knows what's going to go on with that.
I do.
That's kind of you got an idea?
I know everything. Well, maybe not everything, except for what I'm doing. Actually, I've been in communication with Emil. He has been helping them coordinate almost all of this. He has actually changed.
He showed me the track.
Yeah, and he actually even did he show you the way that they're doing the SmackDown this year?
No, I didn't see that.
So he changed the layout of the SmackDown. It's going to make way more sense. Okay. Unless they change it, of course, like what he told me, and he said Jason was cool with it too. They're gonna do 4 and 4 or something like that, I think. And there's gonna be a walkway between them. So you know how last year how you had to walk all the way around everything. They're gonna compartmentalize a little bit and move them over a little bit and make a pathway down the middle also. That way everybody gets more. What's the word? People seeing them and everything like that,
Yeah, that'll give it a more comparative view.
Yeah.
You'll be able to compare more.
It will not matter as much about which one you get because of it.
Yeah.
Should help a lot.
Everybody will have a better spot to do it.
Yes. And
nice.
If he gets what he wants, he's hoping that they put the trailer right in the middle, like right at the end of the walkway in the middle. And then I was hoping, and he was too, that they would put me on top of it, and I could record from there and do my interviews and stuff like that. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That's a great idea.
So then we're looking out on everything going on live at that moment.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, Jeff and Jason and all you guys, this is what the fans want.
Yes, the fans have spoken. But no, that's a great idea, because as we're going to talk about today, a lot of the SmackDown work, there's a lot of vertical work. And to get a bird's eye view of some of this stuff is going to add a whole nother element to it, I believe.
That, and the other thing too that I've found in my experiences of recording is these microphones record everything. Let me rephrase that. You hear everything going on in the background in your headphone and everything like that. But in all reality, when it's all said and done, it really only records right here around me, and it doesn't really record that much of the background. When I did Epoxy Floor Wars the first year, I was recording while they were having a live concert going on. And we were like talking really loud and thinking that nobody could hear us. And when I went back to edit it, it was perfectly fine. They were just background noise. It wasn't that loud. It wasn't distracting or anything.
You interviewed the captains that year for that, right? Right after?
Yes, I did individually.
Yeah.
And I also interviewed Steven. That was the first year when I was judge.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing any concert noise, so that's good.
Yeah, but when I was recording Brian, there wasn't, because we were in a separate room. But when I recorded Isaiah and Steven, they were rehearsing and they were loud as hell behind us. Like we were all talking about how amazing my mics were, and we really thought that it was going to be a huge distraction because we could hear everything, but no. No. So I think
Nice.
it won't be a big deal there either, being that close to the chaos going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
who minds hearing a jackhammer in the background while you're talking anyway? I mean, come on, it's real life.
And they all love concrete.
You'll
So
hear the
yeah, the
concrete
first
truck come
year.
in.
This is the first year for the wheelbarrow race, and I'm excited to see what it's going to be.
I really don't know much about it as much as I was joking. I know the layout. I know the requirements that Jason had because Emil showed me the first one, and it was really skinny. It would have been like they would have run into each other was the issue.
Yeah.
Safety, I will say, as much as I joke about with Jason and Jeff about safety, they are concerned about safety for the wheelbarrow race.
Oh, I believe that.
I thought that was interesting. I was like, really? Like I would have, I was like, I hope they have waivers if that's the case. So
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
that would not be a bad idea. But it should
But
be pretty exciting, and I would assume that they're going to be doing it all day, every day, and stuff like that. So it's going to be a nonstop thing. And where Emil and if I do the demos with him, where we're going to be at doing demonstrations is going to be right on the edge of it. So we're going to have that chaos around us the entire time while we're trying to do demonstrations. So that's going to be pretty fun.
yeah. Oh yeah. I was thinking too when you said you didn't have a specific role this year yet, to be involved with that wheelbarrow race as a commentator maybe can come into play a little bit.
Interesting point. I hadn't thought about that because I mean I'm familiar with what they're going to do because they've done it at their store for the last couple of years. Like for the holiday, they've always had a wheelbarrow race or different types of obstacle course kind of things going on.
Pallet
No,
jack.
it was pallet jack. You're right. I was just going to say you're right. It was pallet jack racing. I'm surprised they're not doing that actually instead of the wheelbarrow, but it makes sense because a lot of you guys use wheelbarrows all the time.
Well, and the other thing is that if you remember that flooring, the way that flooring is in the dome.
No, it's going to be in the
I don't
concrete
know.
area. They can't do it in the flooring
Oh,
area.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. That's not an issue. That's the whole point to why space was an issue and whether I fit into it or not. That's the whole reason why we don't know if there's room for me, which is fine. I'd be happy podcasting. I'm okay to finally, for once, not have to do demonstrations and have a timeline and get
Yep.
dirty and everything like that. I could dress up all day and, be myself. I'm okay
Yep.
with this for the record, everybody. It's going to be now compared to Mr. Josh Whitfield, who has already called me out because I'm going to be there and acting like I'm coming out of retirement again. I don't know where this comes from. I don't know why he has to be on the warpath with me all the time. I swear this guy loves me, but it's hard to tell on social media. But it's funny. But he mentioned that right away, and so of course I had to jab right back to him and go, "Dude, what would you do without me, man? Like, it would be a boring show if I wasn't there torturing you all the time." So,
Yep.
and that also means that he's in the SmackDown somehow, even though he's not supposed to be because he didn't win last year. So we're going to talk about that in a
Well,
minute too. So he's
there-
got something going on, and I think I know where he's going to be a part of it all. But that was an interesting thing for him to post. I didn't see that coming. I was like, really? Why
Oh
me?
yeah. Well, there are a few actually who competed last year as members who are
Yeah,
back this year.
but
So
the difference is a couple of the guys were on the team. It was his team. And I thought
right.
the same thing
That's yep.
too. I mean, I have a couple students going or being in it, and I thought about working with them. Both of them, one of them thought I was going to be on their team and everything like that. But I kind of looked at it and was like, you know what? I've been doing this a very, very, very long time. It's okay for me to step back for a second and let my students do it. There's no reason not to. I mean, if you remember last year, I had, let me think here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had at least 7 or 8 of my students competing in the competition last year.
That's cool.
I mean, is that not a big honor or what? Does that not
For sure.
say that what I'm doing is meaning something? I thought that was
Yeah.
amazing to have all of those students in there talking to me, and seeing what the growth that they've had. And again, that doesn't mean that all of it has to do with what I showed them. It's just because they're my student doesn't mean they were actually doing the work I showed them. It's still, to me, once you're a student, you're always a student. Like there's no reason to all of a sudden not be a student of mine, because there is a lot of stuff I show you. You know that now. You just finally got to take a class with me. I show you so many different things. It's not that what I teach you is just for one side of the industry or for one moment in time. You can utilize everything I teach you for everything you do. So, that's how I look at a lot of it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's now you got more students again this year, so you may have students every year. That
I,
would be cool.
I don't know why I
That
wouldn't,
are in it. Yeah,
other than the fact that I didn't do a training class this year at Decorative. That's going to slow me down a little tiny bit, but we have to make sure this November that class goes and we don't
yeah,
we don't miss it again.
yep, yeah. So one other idea that I thought might be cool, as this continues each year, maybe every ninth year they have a champions SmackDown to where the previous, if they're still around, if they're still interested,
Well,
the 8 previous winners would all compete in that one year, kind of like a quarter quell, if you will.
it would be an interesting idea. We'll see, because I know, for example, like I talked to David Ribello on Thursday,
Yeah,
and he's going, but he didn't enter again. And he's the kind of guy that doesn't really strive for that. I've
right.
had some really good conversations with him about it, and been like, dude, you're the champ. Like, come on, act like the damn champ. Like, you're the champ. Come on. Like, have fun
Yep.
with it. Be the champ for this one year. And then, because you can always go, well, I'm going to come back and try to take the championship again. He's not that kind of person.
Right.
Of all the people to win it, it's almost like the perfect person to win it and the worst person to win it, because he's so genuinely nice and cares about the industry that he doesn't want to like smack down on people. Like, he doesn't care. He just does what he does, and he's happy that he
Yep.
won. Compared to
Yeah.
me, like, almost in tears that I lost and all that kind of stuff. I care so much. How could you let me
Yeah.
lose? But it is what it is. People don't understand everything I do, and I guess I should have done more. But it was the first year.
Yeah.
Maybe next
He
year.
is a
I'm allowed
he is a
back in
very humble
next year.
guy.
He's a very humble guy.
Right.
His whole team is. But I will say that T and I had a good talk with him about it. For example, I said, "Are you even going to bring the belt with you?" And he's like, "I hadn't really thought about it." Dude, you got to bring the belt.
He
Like,
should definitely do that.
even if you don't pull it out, you got to bring it in case, first and foremost.
Yep.
First and foremost. Second of all, how cool would it be for the champ to be walking around with his belt? Like, he doesn't have to compete again. He's the champ. Just like in any other sport, you're the champ forever now. It doesn't matter if you ever compete again. You can officially retire from competition and stay the champ for the rest of your life. It doesn't change. If you compete again and you lose, you're still always the champ. Once a champ, always a champ. It
For
doesn't
sure.
change.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know if he would come back again though, because he's the kind of guy who wants to give others a chance to get in there, and it would have been cool though to see him defend it.
I agree, but we'll see. I mean, of course, what'll happen is if I come back, he'll probably come back just because or something stupid like that. I'll be like, I can't catch a break. But the biggest issue that I learned this year, or I mean last year, was if you don't have vertical concrete, you don't have a chance, and that's frustrating.
I was
I
I
don't
was thinking the
understand
same
that.
exact.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue is if you don't have multiple aspects of the industry, that year one is just not good enough. You can't have one. You've got to have it all. And that's frustrating for someone like me that doesn't do vertical and didn't really think about bringing somebody in to do that kind of stuff. Now, I did put that mirror in on purpose. That's why I had the mirror. Like, I've understood that in the past. I don't know if you know this or remember this or not, but my pink bunny that I did for World of Concrete years ago. I mean, that was
Mhm.
like a decade ago now. And I did that because every time I did competitions out at World of Concrete, I was only doing flooring. And the first year I did it, I slaughtered everybody. I definitely kind of won that one. They don't really have it as a competition, but I definitely was the most talked about of that year. And then over the next couple of years, all these vertical guys got better and better and bigger. And the one year I was right next to a very good friend of mine. I mean, we're very close friends, and I literally got stepped on because they didn't even notice me because they were staring at the vertical right beside me multiple times. I got stuck between two vertical projects. So I'm right in the middle of two vertical guys. No one even knows I'm there. And no one ever paid attention to me at all. It was very frustrating. And that's when I taught myself, hey, you got to have something vertical for people to see. And so then it was in the next year or two after that that I was asked to do the Concrete Cares booth and help bring awareness to cancer. And I was like, well, I've got to do something vertical for this then. I can't do something just for the floor, just to put a table on. And that's when I did the 7 foot tall pink bunny. And not only was that a huge success, hell, that bunny made it on HDTV. I didn't make it on
Right.
HTV. They didn't stop and interview me about the bunny. They interviewed the bunny and then moved on. And I'm standing there like, "Well, but I'm the
Let me
one.
tell you about it.
Don't you want to know how I did it?"
Yep.
Never even met the guy. I saw him do it, and I'm sitting there just watching him, and he just runs off and goes on to the next thing. And I was like, great. So my bunny made it, not me.
Bunny got it, but you didn't.
Bunny got its 15 seconds of fame, not me.
Yeah, that's a great point about vertical, and I think everybody that's in there this year has a lot of vertical as one of their main focuses. And so I think it also then comes down to all these guys are of course top artists. It's going to be the design, of course. That's going to be what separates a lot of these
Yeah,
from the others.
yeah.
Who comes up with the better design
Well,
and creativity?
let's go ahead and get into it. So I put some notes together. I know you put some notes together too. So we're just going to take this one at a time. Do we want to do this on the list that was posted, or just whatever one we want to start with? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't put those. I didn't put mine in that order, but that makes sense.
Well, then what do you have first on your list?
I've got Cody at the first.
Okay, Cody competed last year, did he not?
He did.
Yeah, he was on
He was
Nick's
with
team.
Nick.
Yeah, one of my
Yep.
students. Speaking of, Nick took my
Yep.
class a couple years ago. So let's start right off with there's another one of my students that was in there. Cody, I don't think did though that I know of. He is from Avon Lake, which is not far from where I grew up too in that area. So that's really awesome. I love, it's awesome that there's people coming in from all over the country to do this, but it's even more awesome when they're from Ohio, just because I'm from Ohio. Like, so I have that little pet peeve of like, I want to see Ohio dominate. And to the same point, even Dave Rebello and all of them from last year, they live where my dad grew up, where my family is from. And I grew up all my life going to see that exact area. I know everything about where he lives because I grew up going there every single year and seeing my grandparents and everything like that too. So I kind of put that into the same thing, but still, that's pretty awesome that he's from Ohio.
Yeah, yeah. So he's at number one there. Now, one thing I don't know is who else is on his team.
Well, the other thing I want to say too, before we get too far into it, is I want to make sure that we do support these guys. So he owns Pro Concrete and Construction. So make sure that you go look this guy up if you haven't already liked him, and look up Pro Concrete and Construction too. We want these guys. We want to hope that by the end of this, that win or lose, you get a lot of attention and people start to recognize you and stuff like that too. So I want to make sure that we do everything we can to kind of help these guys, succeed in the future, regardless of this one moment.
For sure. Yep. Yep. So we got him, and I got to be honest. Their project last year is still one of my favorite. The way
Really,
that it turned out. Yeah, yeah. I just love the way that it looked. The different unorthodox methods they used to
I was
achieve
going to
some of that
say it was very
vertical.
unorthodox. That was my thought to it all. That was a good word. I thought the same thing. I was like, I thought it was fine, but again, I'm biased because I was in the competition and I wasn't really
Yep.
paying attention to other people's details. I was doing an overview of what they were doing because I was knee deep in the middle of it. So I didn't pay attention to all the details, but I kind of thought the same thing. The way I watched them do it, I was like, that's not how I've seen other people do it. It's kind of interesting, but it worked.
Yeah. When you.
By the end of it, it did
Oh
work.
yeah.
The first day, I was a little nervous for him. By the end of day one, I was like, I don't think this is going to go the way you planned it. And they even have like major problems.
I think they did have some problems.
I
Yeah.
remember that now.
Yeah, they
That
did. I
some
can't
of it
remember what
didn't.
it was, but yeah, they were scrambling.
Yeah, I think their water system or the something happened with what they were trying to do. They couldn't finish it the way they wanted to, but it still looked pretty awesome when it was all said and
Yeah,
done.
yeah. And so it's one thing to look at the project and see, okay, this is what they did, but you also have to you have to talk to them and see what the details are that don't meet the eye. That they used. I don't know if I want to give away their tip, but they used mashed potatoes for some part of it to create
I didn't even know that.
moss. Yeah, yeah, and it's like you wouldn't know that by looking at it, but when you hear that, it's interesting. It brings out the creativity and different things that you wouldn't think would be used.
Well, one thing I know about at least Nick, and I don't know if that ties into Cody at all too, and it probably does because of where they're at. I remember, when Nick took my class too, that he was taking a lot of different classes at Decorative because he wanted to be able to expand. He didn't just want to pour concrete all the time anymore. He wanted new ideas. He wanted to do fire pits, and he wanted to learn ways to be more creative, to find unique ways to pull himself away from having to pour concrete every single week. The problem was that it's harder to sell those things. It takes more work to get that all together, and you're already pouring concrete. So you may already be scheduled out the whole year. How am I going to take the time to learn these things and do these things? So, obviously they did pretty well, but that's also why they were a little unorthodox, because they were kind of newbies to vertical from my point of view. I could be wrong, and I don't know where Cody falls into that too. So I kind of expected to definitely have some vertical work, but I agree. I think it's not going to be what you normally see at all.
Yeah, yeah, it was so cool the way that it turned out, and yeah, I'm interested to see what they do this year. Cody and his team, whoever it may be on there, I think they might. I think they're going to be a top runner for sure.
Uh, no,
You don't believe it?
no. I know the list. I know the competition. I hope they do. I mean, of course, I hope everybody does well, but I don't think so, and that's okay. I'm allowed.
Yep. Yep.
We're allowed to have our own perspectives on everything, but I think that they're going to actually. I think they're going to be one of the struggling the most out of one of them, not the worst, but not. I'm not saying they're bad, but I think they're going to struggle more than some of the other teams. I think by the time we get
Okay.
through this, I think you'll be surprised by that.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you got next?
All right. Next on there is Chris Land.
Oh, you go straight to Chris Land. That
Do you
was my
know him?
last. Maybe just a little bit. All right, Chris Land owns a Dallas Epoxy guys. He lives in Dallas, Texas. He is not just one of my students, but I've been mentoring him for a couple years. He was on my team, of course, last year too. And I talked him into doing this. Like we all agreed last year, him and Joseph, who we'll get to also, and we all agreed, hey, if I don't win, you guys are entering next year. Literally is what's going on. And so I have an idea of what Chris is going to do a little bit. I'm nervous about Chris having too much planned and not enough time to get it done. One of the biggest things, and I've learned this because I've been doing this for so long, and why, I took the easy route. I mean, my design was not easy. I made it look easy, but I was not rushing. I was not trying to, you don't want to do these things to the last second. You want to get them done and let people see them, or they won't be able to vote on them. And one of the problems I had last year was it took so long to get to the finish because of sealing and staining to be able to put that mirror on that it took longer for people to understand exactly what I was trying to do and stuff like that too. But, we remember last year that they added an extra day for everybody at the last second. And that really ticked me off because I was like, wait, I have this plan to a T for the time period I have allowed. It's not fair that all of a sudden everybody gets a whole nother day. I don't want to redesign my entire project over that. That's not fair. So, and it's okay because that's the rule, whatever it is. Now it's the rule. I mean, if that's what they're doing this year, fine. Everybody's on the same page ahead of time, not 2 weeks before the show starts or a month or whatever out. Like, I wasn't going to redesign my entire thing over this. So from what I've talked to Chris about, I'm nervous that he's going to get it done on time. I believe he will. I hope he does because, again, you don't have 24 hours a day to work on this. You have from the moment they open to the moment they close for 2 days and the 1 day beforehand to do a lot of stuff if you have to pour concrete and everything. So you have 2.5 days, if you will, to get this done. And that's not a lot of time. And from what he's explained to me, not that I'm going to give anything away, I kept going, you can't get that done in the round of time. Like, you're not thinking about getting it done in the day. In all reality, you have two full days to do this, because on
Right.
the final day, you need to be finishing details, and that's it. You really need to be done.
And you don't have the full day either on the final day.
Correct.
It's done early.
Correct.
So
That's my point.
that's an excellent point because last year everybody got it done, but that's one of the biggest challenges that people are going to have in this competition. Or you want to be the best. You want to have the best design, most detail, but you are under that time crunch. And as we saw, you and I know about epoxy floor wars. They really struggle with time crunches there, but it's a totally different competition. And so, yeah, that's a big factor. Can you make the best design and detailed job, but get it done in time? Will we see anybody not meet that deadline this year?
Actually,
That would
that's a very good comment. I wouldn't be surprised if we do. I hope that these people would take this seriously and understand that, because, and for example, Rachel Bruce is a perfect example. She has been competing side by side with me through my entire career. And she does demonstrations all over World of Concrete every single year. She has done the demonstrations at the Decorative Expo every single year too. She's always finishing at the end of the day. I did. There was a couple years that I was doing the demonstrations at Decocrete show that I was finishing up, and they were still putting they were starting to put back the shelving right over top of me while I was still finishing my work. But that was because of what Jason and Jeff had asked me to do. It wasn't because I chose something that complicated. It was because of the requirements they gave me for what they were looking for. Rachel has had that problem almost every single year. And I think last year she actually finished it on time for once too, but she was always one of the ones that tried to do too much in a short amount of time. And I hope that Chris listened to me. I think he did. I have to talk to him again about it. I haven't had time to. I plan to do that this week and catch up with my guys and even Joseph and see what they're doing and kind of go through all that kind of stuff with them. I know his team. I know who he's bringing, and I think he's got a solid team. So I think Chris has a very good chance of being in the top three, to be honest with you. I hope so, since he is one of my proteges, if you will. That doesn't mean I don't even know if he's doing much engraving at all or not. I have no idea on that. I don't know what he's doing on the floor. I know what his plan is on the vertical side. And he's got a hell of a vertical guy coming to help him. He
I
does.
was going to say vertical is not his forte from what I know of him.
Right. He's done some of it, but
Yep.
I would consider him more on the beginner side, maybe leading into advanced a little bit, but he's definitely not an expert vertical guy yet. That doesn't mean he won't be in the future,
Right.
but that's okay.
But yeah, to that point, when people are thinking about entering this competition in the future, that's how you kind of have to look at this. You want to assemble your team and choose your other teammates that are strong in the area that you're not, so that you can bring all of the elements together
Yeah,
and
and he was one of
put
the
out.
ones that was caught off guard that I wasn't going to be a part of it. He was like, "What do you mean you're not going to be on my team?" I'm like, "No, dude. They're they're asking me to do other things. Like, they've got other things planned for me, because Decocrete's always had something planned for me. It's not about this. It's about, that's why I was in the SmackDown last year. I was the first entry last year, because of course I'm going to be a part of it. It's not just about me on these kind of things and stuff like that. Oh, speaking of, I forgot to show off that I'm wearing the SmackDown shirt, for the record.
Yes, yes.
But
I'm not wearing the
yeah,
SmackDown shirt, but I got the Team Decocrete, which is,
I haven't
you
even
know,
seen that one.
I'm sure you have to be part of it. It's a new thing they just started up. So,
Oh, no, they did not. I was not on the list. No, I did not get your
ah,
fancy box. I was a little
all right.
disappointed about that, to be honest with you.
Oops, I just started
I was a
something.
little butthurt about the fact that all these boxes, everybody's posting about these nice boxes they're getting, and I was not one of them. I,
Huh. You must be above. You have to be above. You're in the upper echelon. We're the Team Decocrete peons. You're the
sure, that's a good way to say it. I will get on
way to redeem myself.
Melena's case about this once I get there. That's for sure. She's probably got the box waiting for me, or she sent it to the wrong address again, like she's done before. I don't know.
Right.
All right, who's next?
Next is Louis Lugo.
Okay. What do you got on Lewis?
Lewis, he last year he was a instructor for the first time at the Expo. He helped out Chris Kroll with the overlays. He owns Lugo's General Construction. That's his business. He's from Chicago area. Not sure if he's right in Chicago or not. Or is it Aurora, Illinois? I think it's Aurora.
Right. I forgot to look that one up. I forgot to see where he was from. Yeah, it would be a suburb of Chicago for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I know he's big on overlay stuff. I don't know if Josh is part of his team. I would
I would
imagine if
assume
Josh is
so.
on one of the teams, it would be with him.
It would be. This is a
Um,
Wicked Colors team again.
yes, this team Wicked Colors.
This
Yep.
is Team Wicked Colors,
So,
and so I would assume that they are going to band together like they did last year too. Yes,
yep, yep. So yeah,
the
he's
Wicked Colors are always got it out for me. You know,
yeah. So I'm interested to see what he does. I'm imagining some epoxy, strong, epoxy dominant, overlay dominant. Not sure what they have in store vertically, but time will tell.
so first off, my notes are that first of all, I met him at Epoxy Floor Wars the year that I was commentator. I think I might have met him both years, but I know I met him the second year there when we saw each other there,
Okay.
and I had a good conversation with him. He's a really nice kid. I like him a lot.
Hmm.
Like he was really definitely knew who I was and was excited to talk to me and everything like that. We had a great conversation. I believe he's read some of my articles. I don't know. I forget how the conversation went, but I had a very positive conversation with him. I would assume that this is going to be a mixed media because to your point, like you were
Hmm.
talking about epoxy and everything, the Wicked Color generation have that mixed media where they merge the epoxy and the overlay on the floor all the time. So I'm assuming that you're going to have that breakup of collage between the two of them on the floor and then some kind of vertical part of it too. Usually they're edgy, not
Yep.
necessarily controversial, but edgy. Josh was kind of like that last year with the burnt wood kind of look and stuff like that too. So I'm excited to see what they bring to the table because of that. And but I looked him up, and he does a lot of stamped work, does some
Yep.
wood grain. He was at the Wicked Colors conference that they have in Clarksville, Tennessee. It's about an hour from me. And so I've seen that the stuff he's been practicing going to that to do that like that really old wood kind of look and stuff like that too.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of that kind of stuff in this one.
Yeah, yeah. They call that the Wicked Wood. Their hand textured overlay.
Yeah,
Um,
I
yeah,
saw a porch he did that looked like it was a hand carved porch. It was pretty
yeah.
cool. It wasn't just stamped. It looked like he carved the vertical and the horizontal. It was kind of cool actually. It's on his Facebook page. That was
Yeah,
an interesting way for the horizontal to have that kind of like where you see like the edge of a stone kind of go up and then the sharp edge. You could tell that he carved those edges and stuff. I thought that was an interesting thing. So I
very cool.
definitely think it's going to be an interesting addition to the show to the competition.
Yeah,
He's going to be a tough one.
and and we haven't seen anybody. Nobody has released any hints on what kind of design they have or what their project is
Oh hell
thus
no,
far.
no. Why
Yeah.
would we do that?
Well, I would think maybe somebody would want to
No,
give just a little,
no,
a little sliver,
no.
but nobody has.
No,
So,
we didn't do it last year. You don't want to do that because then your competition knows what you're up to. Like, no, you can't do that.
well,
It's got to be
but what are they going to do?
confidential.
Change their projects in the middle of it because of what they saw you do? I don't.
Yes.
I don't.
Yes, they would have. Trust
Oh,
me,
that's cool. I'm
because
taking it.
everybody wanted to know what I was doing last year. I was,
Yeah.
it was the most talked about part of what we were doing. Everybody wanted to know what Rick was doing. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I was like the one that everybody was gunning for, but that's okay. It made it even more entertaining and it was a lot of fun because of it. But no one wants to give away what they're doing before you see it. Heck no.
Yep.
Not a chance.
All right. Well, the next one is somebody else you might know, Joseph Redwine.
I've never heard of the guy.
Mm. So he's with Mages
Mages
Concrete. He's a
Concrete
partner
in
there, right?
Cincinnati. Yeah, in Cincinnati.
Yep.
Yep.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yep.
Great guy. Long time Decocrete buyer, supporter, everything to do with
He's
them.
taking all their training
And
classes in Cincinnati. Absolutely.
yep, yep, um, a lot of experience. He's got well over 2 decades of experience in the concrete industry.
He is going to be the oldest member of the competition, I believe,
Yeah,
because he's up there
which
with
is
me. He's
awesome.
50. He's right there with me on age. Uh, First and foremost, I'm going to say I love this guy. He's awesome. You know, the
Yeah,
funny thing about it, with everybody you meet, you just never know, especially with all your students, like both ways, whether you meet them in person and just get to know them, or whether they're students of yours and you get to know them afterward. Like you know now, I'm very clear about, hey, reach out to me anytime you want to. After you learn from me and you know how to communicate with me, by all means, always reach out to me. Well, it was kind of the opposite. Like I was like, I forget, we were talking and I brought him into the group and I was like, "Hey, you want to be a part of the competition when I did this last year?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." Like it caught him off guard kind of thing. And we got closer because of it, but it's an interesting twist both ways on this. So, first of all, we are close to the same age. We listen to the exactly same music. Both of us are huge Primus fans. I barely ever meet people that are huge Primus fans. There's always the person that knows who they are. No, no, no. Huge Primus fan with me. And
hmm
so right away, that changes your whole perspective of your relationship because it's one of those unique things that nobody else cares about. You know, the one great thing about Primus is either you have a love or a hate relationship. There is no, I can tolerate it if it's in the background, whatever. It's a love hate. There's no gray area with this band. And that led into, we have a lot of similarities because of how close we are in age and everything like that. So, and I'm from Ohio too. So we had a gazillion reasons to be more of a better relationship than you would expect from some of the students I have and things like that too. So we had a great time together. But then on the side, the other side of it, he kind of kept to himself the whole time last year. And when we got done for the day, I never saw him again every single night. He went back to his hotel, went and did his own thing, and never
Yep.
came and hung out with us once. And so the whole time we kind of felt like, did you were were you part of the group? Did you like what's up? Like he was very quiet the whole time. He just was along for the ride. And he was always the one filming. You know, he's got the great
Yep.
camera, he's got the Go or the drones, like he's really good at filming. And I was like, "Well, why are you filming and not in the camera? Like why are you not on the other side of it too? You know how to do all this, you know how to set it all up. Why are you always filming everybody else and not yourself?" kind of thing. And over this last year, he has started to do that. He's pointed that out to me. We've talked since then. And he's like, "You're right." And I'm starting to put myself in front of everything. And here we are. He is putting himself in front of everything. He's putting his
Yeah.
name on it. You know, he kind of was like the shy guy that's
Yep.
coming out of his shell and starting to show the world that he has something to say now, which is awesome. And I hope that he really does well because of it. And he's very excited about the future of concrete at his age, which is awesome too. You know, he's found a new way to look at things. He went and bought the same engraver that I have because of my class, because of working with me at the show last year, and he has been drawing like a madman. And like I
Yep.
tell everybody in my class, you can sketch all you want to. You don't have to engrave yet. You can just sketch and sketch and sketch and get used to how to lay out and how to figure out that basic math that I teach everybody. And he has taken that to a level even I have not practiced, which is awesome. So I expect his floor to be wild.
That's
And
what
of
I'm
course,
thinking.
he's going to have some
Yeah.
vertical to it, I'm sure, too. But I have a good feeling. I don't know what he's going to do. I'm going to call him after this and try to find out more. But I have a good feeling that he's going to, I have a feeling of what I'm going to see. And it's going to be some crazy 3D floor that's probably going to catch people off guard, to be honest with you. I'm looking
For
forward to it.
sure. So, like we just said, nobody wants to give out tips, but he kind of has in a way because he, like you said, he has been sketching this whole year, and I think he's been preparing for this SmackDown since you guys left there last year.
I agree.
And he has posted a few of his iterations of his drawings, and it just continues to evolve and evolve and evolve. Um, Now, one question I had for you about Joe, did he how many of your classes did he take before you guys were teammates together last
Just the
year?
one.
Was it just the one? Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Which was
And that's
in
when you guys
November right before
first
that.
met?
So it was 4 months. So he was
Okay.
still fresh on the knowledge of everything too.
Did you know him before that class or no?
No, never met him before.
Okay.
And even at
Okay.
the class, he wasn't that, even to the same point throughout the whole class, he was quiet. But he kept putting that
Yep.
camera up. And I kept going, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, it's my 360-degree camera." I didn't know what he was doing. And same thing with Chris Kroll. He's very similar to Chris Kroll. Chris took my class and never said a thing the entire time. And I just didn't think he cared. I mean, it wasn't that he wasn't engaged. He was watching and everything like that. And he was filming with his camera and stuff like that. But I didn't really feel like when it was all said and done that he cared or wanted to learn it or whatever. And then you don't find out until afterward all the things they say about you, or we've talked about. Chris was like, "Oh no, dude," and he's told multiple people and he showed multiple people and very engaged with everything I do. He's just a quiet guy. He's just not
Yep.
outspoken, so he doesn't ask that many questions. He doesn't engage with you very often. Joseph is very similar. So I didn't really know it until after. And then he posted the video of everything that he filmed. And I was like, dude, thanks. Like, that was awesome,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it pretty much almost went viral and nobody
Right.
else did it. And I don't film it. I'm in the middle of it all the time. Like, it's hard I can't do both. So I
Yep.
was really impressed with his ability to film, edit. Even at his age, he gets it with the industry or with technology and everything like that too. So, I can't wait to not only see what he does, but then see what happens afterward with whatever he comes up with
Yeah.
and how he films it and stuff like that too.
Yeah, he is definitely a student for life. Like he learns even in the concrete side. He's the main guy, one of the main guy asking all the questions about the new cement, type 1L. He's not shying away from learning new stuff. So, and that's the best way to take a class though, in my opinion, the way that those guys did it. Not that you can't ask questions, but I learned this when I used to, I still do occasionally, but I used to be very heavy in firearms training. And one of the best things I learned from taking those classes was how to be a student. You're going to a class to learn something. You're not going there to show everybody else what you know and how good you are. So the best thing that you can do is to kind of almost in a sense throw away what you already know or what you think you know about that topic and come in with a completely fresh mind and learn whatever method it is that the instructor is teaching.
Yeah.
Take that.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to use it afterwards, that's fine. But at least that's what you want. That's what you're going there to do. You're going there to learn something new.
I
So
agree, but
that's
I think it's important to speak up and ask questions. It's not
yeah,
about showing off what you do, but it is also important to see how you can adapt your ideas to what you're learning. And
true.
sometimes that comes out in the class too. So
Hmm.
I can go both ways on that. I mean, I agree you shouldn't like try to show off. That's different. But to be dead silent almost the entire time and make the instructor feel like you're you're not even engaged is different. There's
Yep.
got to be some
Yeah.
engagement, you know.
Yeah.
And there was. I just had to learn his version of that. The other
Yeah.
thing I was going to say too is two things. One, just like Nick, he's looking for new things to do so he doesn't have to pour concrete all the time. Especially at his age too, it's brutal to pour concrete at 50 years old. So he wants to find ways to not have to pour concrete all the time, and engraving has become his new way out of that. And he's in
Mhm.
Cincinnati. We talked about that last week. He's in a market where he can open up and do whatever he wants to. He's got the financial backing there when it comes to the clientele to be able to go forward with that and do that very successfully. So I've really look forward to seeing what he does for the future outside of this on top of that. The other thing too is Chris and him both, I thought they were going to do a team together after last year. And it's awesome that they both split and do their own teams, which makes it even
Yep.
more exciting for me. So, my
Yeah.
proteges are now out there doing their own thing against each other. And I think that that's going to be exciting too. I hope that doesn't take away from votes with the idea that, people are going to have to pick one of them. But at the same time, that's very exciting from my point of view and everything that I've brought to this industry. So super excited to see the extreme opposites of what these two, because they are not going to be similar at all, not even close. Just because they took my class and just because they might engrave, they are not going to be similar in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm interested to see the differences there too. That'll be a good matchup to watch. side by side. See,
Dude,
see where that.
we screwed up.
Nuh-uh.
I'm not recording on the video screen. I'm not recording you. I'm only recording me.
Oh, well, you're getting the audio, right?
No.
Oh,
Well, I am getting the audio. Actually, I think I am getting the audio, but I'm not getting the
okay.
video at all.
Yeah, that's all right.
Hmm.
You can put in a thumbnail.
Here, let me start. Regardless, 3, 2. I never did that. I never clicked on you. I clicked on
Mm,
me. I got me up there. I got me down here. I knew it was going to happen because I'm a little rusty. I
it
knew I was going to
happens.
screw something up. And we are 49 minutes into it. So you're going to be audio only for 49 minutes. I'm sorry, everybody.
Hey, we'll still get through it.
Yeah, we're not starting over. I thought about it. All right.
No.
Well, who's next?
Next, I have Isaac Converse. Isaac Converse Concrete. I don't know a lot about him other than he was another competitor last year with
On Grove's
Jeff
team.
Rowe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So, first of all, another guy from Ohio. Yay. Hats off to Ohio. Second of all, I love the fact that his last name is Converse. I just think it's so cool. You know, like
Yep.
I've never heard that name. That's just really interesting. And so I've gotten to talk to these guys a little bit behind the scenes, and he's very vocal. You know, the Grow family have been kind of a quiet family. I want to almost say that I don't know if he's married into them or part of their family or what, but he's always with them. But I like this kid a lot. I think he has a lot of future. I don't know, to your point. I mean, they did really well last year, so he knows what he's
Mhm.
doing because he was a part of it all. I mean, they had kids with them. You know, they had
Yep.
newborns, like they had babies with them when they were doing everything last year. And he was a part of all that. So I have no idea where he falls into all of this when it comes to that. I don't know if any of the Grows are going to be part of his team or if he's got a whole different team. I would assume it's the same team with a different name, but I don't know anything about that. So I'm actually very excited to see what he brings to the table because he is energetic, and he does chat. You know, he's not a quiet guy. He's been very vocal with me, and just I've had fun talking to him. He's a great kid. He's very young,
Yeah.
probably the youngest
Yeah, I
in
was
the
gonna say
competition.
he's got to be the youngest for sure. And from looking him up a little bit, I don't think he's owned his business for very long either. So he's probably the most green out of any of the competition here,
Right.
but certainly not the least skilled by any
Well,
means.
and that's why I point because you know you want to say that means that we don't know what to expect out of him, but we do because we saw what the team did last year. You know, I wonder if it is just pretty much almost the same team with a different name on it. I don't know, which there's nothing wrong with. I kind of feel like
Yeah.
Lewis is the same thing. You know, it's still just the Wicked Colors team with a different person
Yep.
running it. You know, and I think you're going to see a very similar kind of outcome because of it. So that's going to be
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
exciting one.
They did their dragon last year. That was
Yes.
pretty off the wall. So I'm expecting something, not just standard vertical stuff, but some very artistic vertical stuff to be in the mix as well,
I think that they placed in the top three because of that dragon alone.
for sure.
Now,
Yeah.
granted, now they were right next to me. Had a great time with them. We were. I loved the fact that we were right next to each other because if we needed a blower, if we needed power, whatever we needed, we were very helpful with each other. So that was one thing I really enjoyed being next to them, but I didn't really get to pay attention to all the details that they were doing. I was kind of shocked, honestly. I hate to say it this way. I was shocked they placed in the top three, not because I think I should be there, but I just thought that even like Nick, I thought that he should have placed over top of them a little bit. It was because of that dragon. So
Yeah.
hopefully they bring something like that this year again, because if they don't, I don't think they have a chance. The rest of their work looked good. Didn't look expert. It looked good. It was solid. It was a solid demonstration, but I think it was the dragon that sent them to the top.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they had a pizza oven type
Yeah, that's what the dragon
grill
was
and
sitting on top of. Yeah.
sitting on top of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yep. And like we said earlier, design is going to play a major factor here, because even if your skills aren't 100%, if your design takes it over the top, you got to think. it's not like epoxy floor wars where you have three industry experts counting points and voting on it. You have the expo attendees voting on this. So, you know, whatever catches the eye could very well
Correct.
send somebody to the top.
Yeah, so I assume that they've had that plan from day one from last year. And when I went right back to it and was like, okay, this is what did it for us. We got to go this direction with it, and we'll see what
Yep.
happens.
Expand on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have Richard and Jenna Greenwald with Forged in Grain.
Now, this is
And
the
I'm not sure
odd
where they're
team.
from.
They are from Perry or Cleveland, Ohio area. So go
Okay.
Cleveland. They're going to be the odd ones of this whole competition. Like you said, we don't know much about them. I talked to Hirschberger about them when he told me who was going to be coming into the competition way back when they were about to announce. Before they even announced, he told me about these guys. They do mostly like tables and countertops and furniture and stuff like that.
Mm.
And that's why it's a husband and wife team. Like that's what they've been doing as a team. So it's going to be a really interesting, excuse me, because it's not Rich's team or, project. It's the two of them, they
Two of
are,
them. Yep.
yeah. And I really think that they're going to come up with something very clever with a lot of detail. I really expect it's going to be in the detail for them as what I think I'm going to see from them. I don't know what that has to do with the floor. I mean, the guy he does pour concrete. I looked at his stuff. He pours concrete. He's done some stamping and stuff like that too. But I have a feeling that it's going to be like clever sitting area or, things like that, clever table. They do river tables and stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
it could be an epoxy table, a deep pour epoxy. There's a few different things that I'm interested to see where they're going to go with this. But I have a feeling that they're going to be the oddball of the group in a good way. That
Yep.
they might get more votes because of it, or that's why they're not. It's going to be, there's no gray area with them. They're either going to be in the top or they're not because no one's going to relate to it in one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100%. I think epoxy, precast, not sure what vertically they'll do there. Stamped concrete, I don't think anybody really does stamped concrete in this competition. That's like the one thing that not many people do. They'll just do an overlay and hand texture that, or
Well, they'll stamp it the day
epoxy.
before. That's why they had that extra day so they could pour concrete.
Yeah,
so
but
that
it's
they
not
can
the
pour
main.
their.
It's not the main. Yep.
Well, that's an interesting point. Let me think here for a second. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know enough about these other guys to know that. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So next we have Keith Duffy with Kick Ass Concrete, and this guy's from Hawaii.
Yeah. I think this is the front runner. I'm just
Okay.
going to say it right away. I think they're the front runner.
Do you know him?
Yes, I think they're going to be really
Okay.
hard to beat.
Nice.
And to the point of like I've met him. I don't really know him, but I know of his work very much. Yes. So a couple things to it. One is I think it's funny. I think there was only one person on these teams that are not friends of mine on Facebook. Like I
Yep.
don't know these people until I look them up, but it turns out that they're all friends of mine. So I gotta love that kind of point. Like you just never know. That's the great thing about Facebook. You don't realize these people are following you and all that kind of stuff, or that you're even following them. I met these guys 3 years ago at World of Concrete. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong on this, so here's some history if I'm correct, and they will correct me if they hear this. But Rebecca Fishardo
Yep.
has done a lot of work in Hawaii. I think he helped her.
Okay.
I think his company was one of the ones that was helping her because she was doing, and I'm talking like vertical carving sculptures of fish and stuff like that around pools or whatever that she was doing. Like it was full out artistic
Wow.
sculptural stuff. And so when he came to World of Concrete a couple years ago, they did this wicked ass fountain with seahorses and a ball in the middle and the water coming out of the top of it. Crystal helped him with it, but they were doing it and Crystal came and joined them and stuff like that. And so they're first and foremost, they're very much team players. They have been very much involved with World of Concrete for the last 3 years at Decorative Live, and they've done amazing sculptures. I mean, they did an octopus. Actually, the first year might have been the octopus. Last year was the one that they did the seahorses in the ball because it was the 50th anniversary for World of Concrete, and they were there again this year too. So they have been doing some incredible detail, incredible sculptural accents to vertical, where they've done a full out octopus and they've done seahorses and they've done fish. And so we're going to see something unbelievable by them, I believe. I think that they're the front runner. I don't think anybody has any idea how far they go. It's all a matter of can they finish it in the time period allowed.
Right.
But they've been doing that at
If
World of
they do.
Concrete. So I don't know why
Yeah.
they wouldn't, you know? So it'll be interesting to see, but I have a feeling that they're going to be the toughest ones to compete against, to be honest with you, because of how important vertical is.
Well, yeah. Now that you said that, I would agree 100% because we've already said design and vertical are one of the two
And
biggest
relatable
selling.
too. I think what they're going to do is very relatable.
Yeah. And then if you have that fine detail and artistry on top of that, it would be very hard to beat.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'm super excited to see what
Cool.
he does. So that's going to
Yeah.
be awesome.
Yeah. And finally, we have, I think
It's
it's
not
pronounced
finally,
Tim
is
Dykman.
it? Wait. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yep. Finally. Yep.
So Tim Dykman, I believe it would be
Yep.
from Concrete Inc.
In Springfield,
I do
Missouri.
not know him.
I don't know him either. Again, he's friends of mine on Facebook. Wait, maybe he's not. He might be the one. Springfield, Missouri. So what I do know about him is he does know Engravicrete. I talk, like I know everybody, so it's funny that I know these little things. I was talking to Debbie with Engravicrete, and she said, "Yeah, these guys are in the competition have been asking if they can use part of our warehouse to practice." I'm like, "What?" It was them because that's where they're from. They're in that area. So they
Yeah.
have been practicing at Engravicrete, getting ready for this and doing what they need to do. I don't know if engraving is part of it. I would assume it is. They have never
Yeah.
taken my class. They have taken classes there. So I don't know how that relates to it at all yet. But I do expect to have something like that along with, I mean, I looked him up. He's done a little bit of vertical work, nothing major. He did a fountain. It was okay. He does stamping, does countertops, and I saw like a checkerboard pattern floor, so I've seen some cool design work from them from when I looked them up. But
Yeah.
I forgot that, yeah, that they've been secretly practicing at Engravicrete getting ready for this. So how about
Okay.
that
Yeah.
inside information right there?
I've seen a little bit of their work. It seemed like some stenciling, engraving, a lot of color detail, some sharp looking stuff. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they tie that in, uh, because you have to have something vertical for sure. So that'll be the wild card to see what they could pull off vertically, uh, to keep them in the competition.
Yeah, I think they're going to be an interesting one. Again, well, they kind of remind me a lot of what was the team last year? Matt?
Valella.
Well, yeah, that guy. That was all
Yep.
Engravicrete, everything. I wouldn't be
Yes.
surprised if it's something more like that with maybe a little bit of vertical to it, but I think it's more like that kind of realm, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where my 2 cents are on that. It's going to be exciting. But yeah, I think that they're going to have the same problem Matt did, unless they get a better location. Because that's the other thing too. Back to the new layout. That's what hurt Matt. Also, he was in that far corner that no one wanted to be in. That no one could, that you had to walk all the way over there. Hopefully, with this new layout, that's not going to be an issue at all either.
Yeah. Gives everybody the same fair advantage point.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. And so, do you have your top three? What you expect, or are you not going to announce that?
I didn't go there yet. Looking at the list, it's hard to say. It really is. With what you said about Keith, that kind of changes things for me a little bit. Um, because I agree, like if that's what if that's what they excel in, that's gonna be very hard to beat. Um, I think Cody's going to be up there. I still do. I think he's going to pull off something good and something relatable to the people. It might not be. That's the other thing,
You
like you
think that
just
they
said.
learned from their mistakes last year to get them to the top?
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but we got, we're going to have a whole lot more Expo attendees this year, I think, from what I've heard. The ticket sales have been, so we're going to have a whole
Well,
larger voting base this year. That might
so
play a factor.
so that's an interesting thing because I was talking to someone over the week about that. Someone was mentioning how they thought that there was lower turnout than there has been in the past, and it's the exact opposite. Their place is so big, being inside of that
Yep.
dome. We went from being in a tiny little, not tiny, but in comparison, a tiny little warehouse full of obstacles you had to walk around, and expanding on into tents outside of it to try to give us more room, and tent after tent after tent and stuff like that. And it all felt low level, and kind of things that being in this big dome, it makes it feel like there's less because there's so much more room. You know,
Right. Yeah.
World of Concrete this year, everybody was saying they thought it was down in attendance, and I don't think it was much at all. I thought we had better attendance, and not more as much as better attendees that showed up.
Yep.
So maybe there was a few less, but they were better people, more interested and better business plans and stuff like that going on.
Yeah.
So I would hope that this is kind of the same way too. So that's awesome to hear. When it comes to the voting part of it, I don't know if that really makes that big of a difference, and it depends on who's there. With
Yep.
with more attendees, I still think the voting is still going to play the same way. I still don't think I would have had a chance last year, even if we had twice as many attendees.
Oh,
You know what I mean? The
yeah.
point.
Yep. Yeah. But I think a lot of voters with the with how highly skilled most of these people are, a lot of these voters are just saying, I just got to pick one because I like them all.
Right.
It's tough to pick who's your first. I think you vote first, second, third, if I'm correct.
Correct.
Um,
I think so. I don't
so
know.
that's
I assume so. Yeah.
unless they changed it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, and we have to remember an important point. No fraud this year, hopefully. Hopefully they fixed that from last year. Because remember, there was
Yes,
fraud last year.
there
So
was.
unless they've changed the rules, ladies and germs, you cannot post on Facebook, click this link and vote for me if you're not there to vote.
Yep.
That is completely absurd. Why would you do that?
Yep.
And it's funny that none of us thought of it except for one team. I think two actually. But that even cracks me up more because that, like I'm a purist. Like either you like it or
Yes.
you don't. Like if you don't like it, I'm not going to cry about it that much. Maybe a little bit, but it's okay to lose. It's more important to be a part of everything. Don't cheat
Yes.
just because you want to gloat about it and you want that ego trip and everything like that. It's not worth it. Do it the right
No.
way for the right reasons. No cheating, no fraud, because
You
that'll
have
be
to
a
be
big deal.
present to vote.
Yes, you have to be present to vote. We have to be able to see these things. So that's an interest. I'm glad I remembered that at the last second. That's a really important point to everything that's going on for this, and we need to make sure that this is done right to make sure that it's a clear winner and there's no question about it. So, not that I'm going to name names, even though I'm sure everybody knows who did it, but that was a tough one.
So who do you which all right, here's a question for you. Do you think the wheelbarrow race will be the focus this year, or do you think the SmackDown will still be the focus? Or do you think it'll be split kind of evenly? Depends on how cooking that wheelbarrow race gets. That could be drumming up a lot of excitement over there.
I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm a purist.
Yep.
I could care less about the
You're
wheelbarrow
SmackDown
race.
all the way.
I
Yep.
I don't give two shits about the wheelbarrow race because I
Yep.
don't pour concrete. I have nothing to do with wheelbarrows. you
You've never
know?
pushed a wheelbarrow ever.
Oh yes, in my yard, not on a concrete job. No, I've never had a reason to.
Yep.
Or I was far enough along that my employees did it. I didn't do it, so no.
Yeah.
That means nothing to me whatsoever. So I am biased and a purist when it comes to all this stuff. So no, I could
Yeah.
care less at all.
I I would hope the SmackDown will still be
I think it's
the
cool that
focal
they're doing
point.
it. Like, don't take it like
Oh yeah.
I think it's
Yep.
an awesome idea, and I think it's an awesome addition. And that's the thing about this too is this is what I love about Decocrete. They're not thinking, "Hey, we found this awesome location to do this show. We don't have to do anything else. We can just put the
Right.
show at the Football Hall of Fame, and everybody's going to come. Why else would we need to do any more?" No, that's not the way they think. So then they think, what else can we do that's bigger? So they come up with this SmackDown. I mean, they used to do Brawl in the Fall for years at the Concrete Decor show, so they were familiar with it. And Epoxy Floor Wars was coming out, so they were like, well, let's do our version. Let's have our own competition kind of thing. Smart move, really good idea, huge success. It's going to be bigger and bigger. At that point, why would you need to do anything else? This is going to be huge.
Right.
Let this go for a couple of years. No, they go big or go home every single year. So here we
Yep.
are. Let's bring in a wheelbarrow race, because they had the pallet jack race and everybody was watching it. And so
Hmm.
let's bring this to another level and bring in a wheelbarrow race. And I hope it's a success, but I can't imagine it outplaying the SmackDown across the board. I
Right.
also I hope that it brings more people too. But the other point to all of this too is what we do in the evening. We worry about what's going on at the show, but you and I both know it's our time in the evening together too. It's
Yep.
I've said this many a times before. You go to World of Concrete, there's 70,000 people all over Las Vegas. You're lucky to see each other in the evening. It's hard to get together. You got to plan it. You got to figure out what you're not going to just randomly walk into each other very easily in Vegas. You know, Concrete Decor was the same way, just like Decocrete. It's in a small little community. So in the evening, you have nowhere else to go. You're not going to get lost. There's only a couple places to go hang out in a good way. And so you get to see each other all the time. The hotel bar is an awesome place to hang out. The sports bar across the street is a great place to hang out. So I think the best part of the show, be honest with you, is the evenings. I really do, because
Yeah.
that's the time when we're not at a booth, we're not working. This is when we get the one-on-one time, when we get to hang out and have the casual conversation and get to know each other better. These are the moments that I love the most. So I think that it's really about the whole package deal, about the fact that they finally moved it from middle of nowhere, Ohio to Canton, Ohio.
Yep.
Still small town when it comes to the big picture. Like I would love for them to really move it to Columbus, and I've talked to Jason about that, or Cleveland and things like that too. But Canton was a great alternative because now we have somewhere to go. For the last couple of years before they moved there, the bars were closing at 10:30 because of COVID, and
Mm.
they never expanded out of that. Worcester was a disaster after COVID. Nobody wanted to stay open. Nobody cared about how much we want to stay out till 1 o'clock in the morning talking to each other. It's not that we want to get hammered. We want to have fun together. And it's that decorative concrete community that Decocrete brings to the big picture. And that's the point to it all to me. I think it's the whole package deal. And to that same point, I hope to talk to more people I've never met before. I look forward to playing more card games and everything else we do. We will keep it entertaining for you if you show up.
Yes, I agree. The one thing I don't agree is I'll be checking out. Excuse me. I'll be checking out about 9, 10 o'clock. I'm not a late night guy, which is.
Well, if I don't have to do a
But
demonstration, I will not be checking out because I don't have to worry about it.
But
But
I think that's to your point. The wheelbarrow race is awesome because it brings in everybody else. There's plenty of people who were there who were saying, "I'll never go to the SmackDown. I can't do that stuff." And this is something for them to have their own little competition
yeah,
and still have an involvement in it somehow, and more fun for them than just walking around checking everybody else out.
that's a
So
really good
that's
point,
I like
actually,
that.
because to your exact same point, actually, I never thought about that way till you started to say that. For example, you own a company and you're bringing your entire team. Because again, bringing your entire team to Vegas is a huge expense. Bringing your
Right.
entire team to Canton, Ohio is not that expensive at all. So you might be there to network or talk to specific people about business or whatever you're there for. But your team can do whatever they want or
Yep.
does, they're not there for that. So they have
Right.
something now to go have fun doing that doesn't have to be a big deal or a big picture. Like I think that there's going to be a lot of kids, not, younger, or a lot of the employees are going to go to town on the wheelbarrow racing. They have the same thing at World Concrete with the trial machine races. They have a trial
Yep.
machine competition. And I think it's kind of the same way where everybody wants to do it. And I do see
Yep.
that happening 100%. What I don't see happening is me doing the wheelbarrow race.
Uh, I might. I might. I'm still undecided. Depends on if I could slip away, but I think it's a cool thing that they're doing because nobody has to plan for it really. You just show up and do your thing.
I wonder how they're
And
going to
and
do
there
it,
is
if it's going to be a sign up or, things like that.
that's the
Like,
one part I'm worried about
it's
because
funny.
if there's a lot of people, how are they gonna
Yeah,
keep
right.
track of who's racing when? And
Right. It's funny you say that. Actually, I just thought about this, and I have not talked to the team about this and how they're going to do it either. But I've gone to Vegas 2 years for pool competitions, and they have what's called minis, and there are mini competitions going on throughout the entire day. And you go up and you sign up for the next mini, and it tells you when there's availability, and you sign up for that round of competition, and then they message you and say, hey, your round is coming up and stuff like that. I don't know how they have this planned either, but that might be like where it's going to an extent, and that's kind of a cool thing
yeah,
too. And if that works, then what's next?
right,
Because they're always thinking about what's next. So is this the beginning of competitions across the board? Or the problem is, where are they going to find the room for all of it? Does this mean that Emil and I can't do anything anymore because they got to bring another competition next to the wheelbarrow race that's going to be something more entertaining? I don't know. You know,
power screening or
who
something like
knows,
that.
right? The power screed thing is a big deal, and actually, people would
Yep.
go apeshit over that too. So there's a lot to be said about what can go on because of all of that. That I'll be interested to see where it goes next, because we know it's going to be a success. We already, I mean, everybody's talking about it. It's not like this is going to go okay unless they
Yep.
completely screw it up. It's going to be a huge success. So where are they going to go next with it too? So
Yeah.
I'm very interested in all that kind of stuff. Whether I have anything to do with it or not is a separate conversation. But I think that this wheelbarrow race does bring another level of to your point, the other people that are going to the show.
Yep.
Because we all have our
Yep.
own agendas. The ones that don't have an agenda are wheelbarrow racing.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. The final part of it would be the party, the pre-party, which they're also doing that panel discussion on Wednesday, the 1L. So it's going to be over, I'm assuming, where the party is on Wednesday. I don't know if they're doing any YouTube panel discussions this year at the show. It didn't sound like they were. They're going to have an area where it's going to be a meet and greet, I believe. I know Ryan's doing his own meet and greet.
There's a YouTube lounge or something like that where they're going to have stuff going on, and they haven't given me
Yeah,
any details about all that yet. That might be where I would do the podcasting, and that was the original idea. It was Emil that brought up the idea of me doing it on top of their trailer, which would be awesome if they could. I mean, that would
yeah.
be the bomb. But they were talking about whether I could be a part of that YouTube lounge area to do my podcasting
Hmm.
in. But I don't know any more than that either. So that's another point to what we're talking about. Of they're always thinking bigger, thinking better, thinking smarter. They're not stuck in a rut. They're not stuck in this works and we're just going to do the same thing over and over. Uh, that's another good point. I didn't think about that. I don't know how they're playing all that off. The 1L conversation, I'm a little nervous about, to be honest with you, because I'm trying to put together a podcast about it too. But being a member of ASCC,
Mm.
there's a whole different conversation about 1L in my world compared to the people that are going to be there.
Yep.
We've already gone through that, if you will, bitch session about the nightmares of 1L. But a lot of people haven't, because they're not members of this organization, and they don't even know what I'm talking about and things like that. So this is going to be what I'm afraid of. It's going to become a nightmare of everybody's just going to want to vent about their frustrations. That's not
Right.
going to help anything. We have to think about how to either adjust what we do and move forward with it, or how we're going to never pour concrete again until they fix it kind of like idea. So I don't know where this is going to go, and I don't want it to just turn into everybody's going to complain session, because that's not going to accomplish anything for any of us at all. So
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about what that means right now, and where that's going to go, because I've already been in many of these discussions, and I was already in those, and now we're to the other side of it. But there's so much you and I can talk about when we're sitting down there about what I do know and what's going on, and what I see the future looking like, because everybody's so worried about 1L right now. What they don't know is there's 1T, 1P, one something else. There's more coming, where they're going to change instead of having limestone, they're going to switch to clay, and there's all these plans of this crap that they're trying to do to minimize, the ridiculousness of what they're trying to do, instead of just make concrete what concrete is. And because of the failures of 1L, the industry is doing a better job of testing before throwing this crap out to us. But the issue is, like at ASCC, we have enormous commercial contractors and residential contractors, but we have enormous commercial contractors. At the Decorative Concrete Expo, very minimal amount of commercial contractors, definitely not large commercial, because it's decorative. There is no such thing as large commercial decorative, except for like hardscape world. So you're not going to have a lot of people there that actually have any influence or any power to do anything about it. All you're going to have is a lot of people that are just worried about their future, which they should be. It sucks because this is a residential nightmare. It's not a commercial nightmare. It is, but it's not the same, because the great thing about commercial is they can just put in their thing. We're not responsible for 1L because we have no control over the concrete coming in. You can't tell that to a homeowner and say, I'm going to pour this concrete, but I can't guarantee it. They don't. Why would they even pour concrete then?
It wouldn't. Yeah.
So I'm already complaining right there. Like, boom, all of a sudden it turns into a complaint fest. That is not going to help us. We need to find a way forward, not what we, how can we do this without 1L? That's not going to happen. We have to either live with it, or we better start creating a lobby group that's going to go to the government and fix this, because there's no in between. But that lobby group is going to have to be those large commercial. We're little peons when it comes to concrete. We don't really think about how big of a deal it is when I'm talking to contractors that are pouring over 1 million square feet a year. How much did you pour last year? 1 million square feet?
No.
Not even close, right? You see my point?
Yeah.
Like, what power do you have?
Yep.
The residential world
Very
has
little.
zero power. And I've always felt like that. Like, as a member of ASCC, I'm a residential world with a little bit of commercial. I've always felt not powerless, but less powerful. But it's more important. That's also why I network so much, is I know these people. I know the people that have the opportunity to fix this. I don't know why they're not doing it, but we'll see what happens next. So I'm a little nervous about that thing. I don't know if it's going to go as well as it could. Yeah.
There's several people that are going to be a part of it. I believe Amel is one of them.
They are, and Amel doesn't have to deal with it. They don't have 1L where he's at. He's not pouring 1L.
I'm not pouring it either, actually.
Yeah. You guys still have raw material manufacturers bringing in type 1, type 2. So whereas Ben has just started to have to deal with it, and that's why he's having issues. And I've talked to Ben about this multiple times, and he's part of what I'm trying to put together. I've got a plan to try to help that. And I mean, not that I have any power. Come on, let's be real. I have a tiny little podcast. But if we don't do these things, then it will never move forward. If we don't have these meetings, we won't move forward. If we don't have a group to get together to do it, but I'm looking at it completely different. So I will have that conversation with you off the air. That's as much as I want to say on the air. And if anybody, after they listen to this, want to talk to me more about it while we're at the Decorative Concrete Expo, by all means, come talk to me about it. it cracks me up even more that I know that much information and I've never poured a ounce of concrete in my life.
Yeah, that is pretty ironic.
But it is what it is, and they've done this before throughout history. There's a lot to be said about all the changes that have happened over history that everybody had to take a step back before they could take two steps forward. And
Yeah.
I think this was a little bit more extreme than that, but at the same time, it's not gone away yet. Something's going on.
Yeah.
So if it was
We're
that
just
bad,
at
it would
that
have already been
point.
gone.
Yeah.
And I have to be very careful with that kind of stuff too, because when it first came up in Nashville, I knew about it already before it even hit Nashville. And then when I was talking to a random contractor that I met at a supply store, I went to a job site and looked at an issue and told them it's 1L and all this kind of stuff. And I sat down with them and I explained it all to them. Next thing I know, I'm getting in trouble by the ready mix company because I'm talking about it. And I'm like, I didn't even bring up your company. They went to that company and brought my name up. Said, this guy's telling us what's going on. And they were like, but it really upset me because I got into a lot of trouble with it. Like, it's literally one of those hush hush things, like shut the hell up kind of thing for me. And I don't know what to do about that. So I'm in a weird place when it comes to 1L right now. And I got to be very careful about how I handle it. And I think I've already said too much now, dang it. But still, it is what it is. But I don't think it's going away. So we have to be careful about how do we move forward, not let's just make a bitch session about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then after that, we'll have a good time at the party. That's
Absolutely.
at 5 p.m. Wednesday.
I think so.
That's always a great time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's at the place, at the event place. Right.
Yep. Right at the stadium there. Yep. Same as last year. Yep.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's at that across the street at the stadium itself. Oh,
Yep. So that's where the panel's going to be. Yep.
Really?
Yeah, because everybody's going to be working and setting up demos and all that at the dome.
So instead of karaoke, we're going to have a 1L conversation?
Well, no, this will be prior. This is from, I want to say 2:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
And then the party's at 5.
Okay.
So if anybody's going to that panel discussion, you might want to plan to maybe not go back. If you're staying for the whole thing, maybe not plan on going back to your hotel before the party because it's that close to the start of it.
That's going to be a tough one. And the other thing to that too is all the guys that are competing are going to be busting their butts competing right there, and they're going to miss that conversation whether they want to be a part of it or not. It's going to be tough.
So Joe mentioned he wants to try to slip over there if he has time. I think Richard Greenwald mentioned he wants to as well. But from last year, I mean, the day before, they probably want to spend as much time as they can preparing their projects.
I didn't do anything.
I mean, you didn't have to, but if they're under a time crunch on their project,
yeah,
they're not going to want to give up time, especially if their competitors are still working. So,
and especially if they plan for that, the hardest part about the SmackDown is time, and you have to plan for that time. I can't emphasize that enough because if you don't know how to take care of the details of time, you will not get done in time, or you will compromise your design because of it. You really have to think big about that, which means you don't want to do too much. That's the hardest part about it. Is the more if you do too, it's over. I mean, I would even say that the Grow team had trouble finishing on time to that same point too. Mm-hmm. So you had Nick's team, Grow's team. Whitfield was close on that too. He was struggling to finish on time. All that kind of stuff really does matter.
Yeah. It'll be an interesting competition for sure.
Well, I want to thank you for joining me for the Superfan Roundtable about what to expect at the Decorative Concrete Expo. Apologize that I screwed up the video for 2/3 of it or half of it. I'm a little rusty. I need to get more podcasts going out there. It's the funniest thing I say that. I ran into a guy at World of Concrete this year and that I've known for a couple of years now. And he was like, yeah, I listened to all of your episodes. I'm like, really? You never know. You never know who's paying attention and what. And he was like, yeah, I already know what my answer would be. And I'm like, to what?
That's right.
And he goes, the first question, when did we meet? And I'm like, oh. And so that was pretty funny for me. So I promise everybody I will get back to this. I will start doing it more. And the hardest part is just keeping a schedule. If you don't if you don't keep a schedule like I was doing last year, once you walk away from it for even a couple weeks, it's like, yeah, I'll get to it. Yeah, I'll get to it. Yeah, sure, I'll get to it. And it's harder and harder to get back.
Yep.
So, and it's harder and harder to remember how to do everything that I have to do to make this happen too.
Yeah.
So I've made a few mistakes over the last couple of years. I thought I had that all figured out, but here we are. I still make mistakes. I am human.
Hey, everybody does. Yep.
Well, I barely ever do, but it happens.
Occasionally.
Or at least I don't admit to it. No, just kidding. But anyway, thanks very much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in just a couple weeks. We're gonna have a
Yep.
good time, and hopefully I get to do a bunch of these videos while I have people around me, because it is a lot easier to do it in person than it is over the internet. I will say that too.
Right.
It is what it is. We don't live near each other, but yeah. So I look forward to it. Thank you very much for joining me, and everybody listening, have a great day.